Have you ever purchased something or you get something and you can't help but realize, I think we already got that. I think we don't need that. Why are you buying another one of those? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called a hoarder. But sometimes, even when you hoard things, it doesn't necessarily work out. And sometimes there's only so many things you can hoard before you start realizing, I can't use them all at the same time. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the New York Giants draft class. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're continuing our 2025 NFL Draft recap. And we're now in the NFC East, and we're going to talk about the Big Blue of New York City. By the time this recording, the New York Knicks have just won their first championship in literally half a century. Of course. But congratulations to the NBA New York Knicks as they win in 5 by taking care of the San Antonio Spurs. So congratulations to it. Also, funny enough, in the same weekend, the Louisville Kings of the UFL have won their first championship, formerly the Memphis Showboats, but now they beat by defeating the defending champion, the DC Defenders, in a 27-20 matchup. So congratulations to the Louisville Kings, and congratulations to the UFL for another successful season. Question mark. Sometimes leagues have different things than just going through a whole season. And I'm right, XFL. So, with all that being said, congratulations to the winners, and let's talk about the congratulations to the Giants. So, okay. Let's talk about the New York Giants. When the NFL draft, mainly for the Giants, started, which for some teams was probably week 10, but there were conversations on what the Giants are going to do. Scatterboo and Dart both showed great promise in their rookie season, so the hopeful was there, even though they both basically put a lot of people in fear of their own liability of injuries. Dart being a little too aggressive, and Scatterboo literally was having his leg dangled. So, of course, and Malik Neighbors' injury also, hindered problems too. So basically, 3 of your starting caliber offensive players going into this season had major question marks on, health. A lot of things that even the greatest of athletes can't 100% prevent is health. Especially a sport like this, sometimes it's a little bit over the top, can even lead to, heck, we've seen what turf toe have done to great quarterbacks in this league, so no surprise if injuries becomes a factor. So when the season started for the Giants, a lot of people, or draft season I should say, the conversation was, what are the Giants going to do? There were tons of mock drafts on who they're possibly going to do. And then the big thing happened, of course, is when they traded Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals, which I'm going to say, not because of who they picked, but I feel like just initially that trade for the Bengals pick, which was the 10th overall, you gave the Giants 2 first-round picks, and I cannot help but feel like, what have you done? But we have seen, history has told us that just because you get 2 first-round picks or multiple first-round picks, unless they execute, which we won't know until probably 4 years after they draft the players, succeed. The Raiders had 3, and they literally got nothing for it. So that's when John Gruden was the Raiders back in the, yeah. So the biggest thing is that with both New York Jets and the Giants in the first top 5, there was speculation of what players were going to go. Arvell Reese was the big one, that he was going to New York, but more than likely the Jets. And that Bailey, at worst case, will go to probably the Cardinals or Tennessee. That didn't happen. And then, well, with the 5th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants selected Arvell Reese, edge linebacker, Ohio State. So for the New York Giants to get that was a surprise. One, they just got probably one of the better rookie candidates last year in Abdul Carter. Byrne was still playing at a high level, and you still got Thibodeau, which you have not decided what to do with him yet. And for the factor, I think if this is not cement that Thibodeau might be long gone, I don't know what is. But looking at the Giants, who are going to a 3-4 defense, they're moving Arvell Reese inside linebacker, and I just can't help but feel that if that was the case, then get Sonny Styles. Get the other player who was more fitting for an inside linebacker position. Arvell Reese fits more as an edge rusher in a 3-4 defense. And Arvell Reese could be the similar ideology of what Micah Parsons was when he was drafted out of Penn State. That he can play a linebacker, but he was so more effective as rushing the quarterback. But you already kind of addressed the... I'm choking on my thoughts here. You already addressed the pass rushing department. I know Arvell Reese is such a talented player, but Caleb Downs... I mean, if you want an Ohio State player so bad, there were other Ohio State players that would have helped. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles. You could have done so much better, New York. My fear for Arvell Reese is not that he's a bad player, is that I don't think the Giants are going to utilize him right. And that, to me, is another factor that we have learned, especially recently, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Aaron Donald won a ring, Baker succeeding in Tampa. You know, that sometimes there are teams that they draft players and the system doesn't work for them. It happens. And I feel like, as talented as Reese is, I feel like even if he succeeds his rookie season, I feel like in the long run, he will be so underutilized that honestly, it would be a waste. And who knows, maybe Arvell Reese will eventually become the pass rushing demon they thought, but I just feel like you already got Abdul Carter. Is there doubts already in that conversation? I don't know. It does not make me feel confident. It's like buying another sports car when you already have 4. Why another one? So we go to the 10th overall pick, and I thought this is where they will go, Caleb Downs. No, they went with insurance. So, with the 10th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants selected Francis Mawawi, offensive tackle, Miami. Don't hate the pick. Don't hate the pick. There was a consideration that they will take Francis 5th overall, and then see where it goes, because I didn't think they're reaching it. But Francis was definitely, especially after they traded with the Bengals to get the another pick in the top 10. Very much felt like the Giants were going to go that way anyway. Now, they currently have Francis as a guard, according to ESPN depth chart. Them as the right guard. Not a bad thing, help develop an offensive lineman. It helps everything. Opens the running lane for Scatterboo and protects Jackson Dart from himself. So, don't hate the pick. I actually very much loved it. I thought Francis might be picked up by the Cardinals or Tennessee to give, Cam more protection. So, Francis going number 10 to the Giants, fine. Not a bad pickup. I'm sure some Giants fans are thinking, okay, we do need to protect our investments, but there were so many talented players in the top 10, we probably could have gone something else. Whatever. So they did what they had to do. Good pick, solid foundation, always needed. And especially as Harbaugh. Remember, Harbaugh, likes, well, both Harbaugh different styles, but I just can't help but feel like Harbaugh from the time of the Ravens probably felt a little bit more confident that I'm going to develop the same way I developed the Ravens in the time to time. Strong foundational front, strong rushing attack, and don't let my quarterback kill himself like Lamar Jackson with him running all over the place and getting injuries every season. But we'll see. In the second round, with the 37th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants selected Colt Hood, corner, Tennessee. I have not been really focused with the Giants secondary in quite some time. I think the last time I pay attention to the secondary department for the Giants, wow, was it Pepper? No, but it's been a while. It's been a while. There's one player that I remember. I'm trying to remember that. Was he a Giant or was he? There's a Giant player that I'm drawing blank for that was. I don't know if the Giants picked him or he got traded to the Giants. And they gave him a big contract. Oh, I don't remember, but the Giants secondary side, the Giants felt like they're really built on front seven. Secondary probably, always needs a little tune here and there, but I just can't help but feel like as much you want your secondary to be strong, you still want if your front seven can take care of the pressure, it makes the cornerback in the secondary department a lot easier, knowing that basically you guys are going to take care of it. Colt Hood, did the Giants really needed a corner according to ESPN? Yeah, one of their pressing needs was the cornerback side of it. So getting Colt Hood there definitely fits well. Um, Now, would they have gone taking the risk and getting his teammate McCoy, who eventually went to the Raiders? Would have that been a possibility? I don't know. Maybe because they want an instant. I mean, Cole Hood is still ranked fourth in his position, so nothing all, and he is compared to AJ Terrell. So if he plays remotely like him, then the Giants will be fine secondary wise to go with that strong front seven. Then we go to the third round with the 74th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New York Giants selected Malachi Fields, wide receiver, Notre Dame. I can't pronounce his first name. Mal- Fields, wide receiver, Notre Dame. This one, I am not disappointed. I thought maybe they would address the wide receiver part a little bit earlier, but getting Fields in when they did, um, I don't hate the pick. I don't hate the pick. The best thing about it is that I feel like he's a good number three. He's 6'4", 218. He's a big guy. Big guy. Not in weight, but just, he's a physical receiver. And my concern for the Giants, we all know that Robinson, as successfully did because of Malik Neighbors' absence from injuries, he did a lot of heavy lifting. The Giants also got Likely from the Ravens, went to with Harbaugh there. And Darius Slayton has been a very solid wide receiver, but I always view Darius Slayton as a low number two or a high number three. Malik Neighbors is still by far the best receiver for the Giants, and not even a question. And they got Darnell Mooney, who has been mainly lately, especially time of the Falcons, as the speed guy go-getter. So seeing Fields come in is definitely, to me, is their possession receiver inside the slot, go up against the linebacker, contest with the safety. And depends on the status of Malik Neighbors' injuries right now. I don't think it's unnecessary to do it, even though I feel like Harbaugh will probably rely more on his running back tandem of Scatterboo, Tracy Jr., and Singletary. That, and of course, Likely and Theo Johnson, they're very solid everywhere else. Receivers may not have to be forced in to rely on, the status of my neighbor's, recovery process. But I think Field is a massive success for the Giants because he's not necessarily needed to come in to be the 1-2. And at number 3, he'll still be just as valuable. So to me, good quality pickup for the Giants. Then we go to the 6th round, so a little bit of a wait. As our last 3 picks are in the 6th round. With the 186th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants selected Bobby Jamison Travis, defensive tackle, Auburn. We can make the stretch that this is the Derek Lawrence replacement, and not replacement as in status and role, just as we lost a defensive tackle. Let's get a young defensive tackle in there. We all know that they're not putting that pressure on this young man to be Dexter Lawrence, whether at same level or at, it's just the fact that we lost a defensive tackle. So we're going to replace it with another defensive tackle. That's not saying that they're expecting him to be a day one starter or to be as great as Dexter Lawrence was. That one's a first round pick, mind you. But they are addressing that we are down a defensive tackle and the draft is there. So they did. And for a 3-4 defense, 6'3", 328, good solid size. Let's see where they have him. They currently have him as the nose guard position, currently viewed as the third stringer. So, he'll, pardon me, he'll probably get some playing time a lot in preseason. He'll develop himself there. Maybe get some rotation the quicker he grasps the defensive schemes. But to me, this was no way away to say we lost Dexter Lawrence, so here are the shoes you need to fill. It was not like that. It was just basic math. We are down one defensive tackle. There's a lot of fresh, talented play that we don't have to force into the lineup, and we can develop for the future. That's what they did, and I feel like that's a smart investment for the future. But like I said, it's not replacing Lawrence in that level. Then, still in the 6th round, mind you, remember, with the 192nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants selected J.C. Davis, offensive tackle, Illinois. I believe they're going to move him. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were going to move him to guard, but apparently they still have him projected to be the backup to Andrew Thomas at left tackle, which is always fun when you hear an offense not going to left tackle because, most of our quarterbacks are right-handed, so left tackle is basically meaning you need to protect my quarterback's blind side from himself and from everyone else. So, investment for the future. Let's take a look at his intangibles here for JC. JC, offensive Illinois. It's a Big Ten school. You know how much I love offensive linemen from Big Ten schools. 6'4", 322, good intangibles. He started his career at New Mexico, then went to Illinois, so I take that as a plus. He's able to develop to a higher level of competition. He's ranked 24th in the position, and he's at the 299th overall, grade 41. My guess is that he's there for development. The 6'4", 322 intangibles just screams it, and they said they can just, sharpen his technique and his form. He'll probably be more valuable. So to me, this more than likely feels like a project player. He'll get a lot of experience in preseason because, like I said, starters don't really play preseason very long. So we'll see what JC can do in preseason and camp, stays healthy. And who knows, maybe in 3 or 4 years down the line, you see him develop more. But 6'4", 322, it's kind of hard to say, what if? And then for the Giants, their last pick in the 6th round, well, the 193rd, which is literally the next pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Giants selected Jack Kelly, linebacker, BYU. To the Giants fans out there, the ones that are not still celebrating the Knicks victory, which, by the way, congrats, you deserve it. I don't know. I feel like with the amount of linebacker they already have, I don't know why they will get linebacker. My honest guess, I would have thought they would address something else, maybe defensive tackle again. Maybe they go with secondary help, or remember Odell Beckham Jr. and Juju Smith-Schuster, Calvin Austin, Braxton Barrows. Some of those players you recognize from other teams, and some, of course, Odell, back on the Giants. So it's just like, they got a bunch of not to be mean, a bunch of returning has-beens, wannabes, hopefuls, still. So Jack Kelly, a linebacker. They currently have him projected behind Arvell Reese in the inside left linebacker side. And my brain is thinking, what if Jack Kelly is the insurance policy in case Arvell Reese doesn't develop well as an inside linebacker? Conspiracy. We all know that Arvell Reese is a specimen among specimen and pure athleticism regardless of position. But I feel like Jack Kelly might fit better into an inside linebacker in a 3-4 than Arvell Reese does. So what if Jack Kelly is the insurance policy? Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Jack fits better. Because the schemes. And that is the New York Giants draft class. Player I am most excited about. because I want to see what they're going to do with him, I'm going to cheat and say Arvell Reese. Even though I've been saying a lot of doubts on the pick. Just want to see what they're going to do with him. I'm going to trust Harbaugh and his coaching staff. They'll find a way to utilize him. But I felt like for a while, the Ravens' defense pass rush department has been kind of lacking. So, but Arvell Reese I'm most excited about because it's one of the things where it's like, why do you want him? You kind of addressed what you needed before, and it feels like we're back again. Grade I give the Giants just because you've addressed the quarterback, and you have a lot of players you've addressed last year that have starters today. You got a new head coach who, of all franchises, I'm really surprised went to the Giants. The NFC, I feel like you guys are still fourth best in your division. So I'm sorry to say, but I'm going to say not yet. We don't know how good of a coach Harbaugh could be in a new team. He's been with the Ravens for nearly 2 decades. So I don't want to put that expectation that this draft class has been so phenomenal is going to make it. I mean, the draft class last year wasn't under Harbaugh. So, yeah. So I'm going to say not yet because until I see it, I still feel like they're still basement of the NFC East compared to the Cowboys, the Eagles, and even the Commanders. So, yeah, Giants, not yet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Giants. We're moving right along in the NFC East, and the team we're going to talk to next will be the Birds. The Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. AJ Brown's traded. We'll talk about that next time. But until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.